Hello, welcome to Marketing Matters, the show where we explore all things marketing and uncover those things that matter for you and your success. I'm your host, Denise Millay, and my hope and mission is to bring marketing and technology to you without jargon, complexity, or confusion so you can grow your business, expand your impact in the world, and build your best life. Today's episode is called Who Are You? And before we dive in, I want to share a quote from John C. Maxwell. He's a best-selling author and expert on leadership and building leadership cultures. To grow yourself, you must know yourself. And I wanted to share this quote with you today because as women in business, we're supporting ourselves and our families with our endeavors, right? So that's the first goal and it's the top priority, right? But we're also showing others how to approach their enterprises and their dreams and their hopes, right? So we're setting examples for those around us and those growing and learning. So everything we do is an example for someone, including our children, our relatives, our community. So as women, we're again asked to elevate ourselves so that we can help move the collective further in the world. And I know in my heart that is one of the things that I try to do as I interact with other women. And I'm sure it's something that you've thought of in different times as well. So I wanted to touch on this today so that we can all kind of elevate our thinking to the much broader picture. So we're going to ask the question, who are you? And you're probably saying, well, why? Why, right? Well, as a business owner, you are the public face of your business. You and you alone are what your business stands for. You can have a website, you can have products, you can have books, you can have all these things. But if you don't carry the confidence and the image of what you're all about, then nobody's really going to understand your business and they're not going to really get it and feel that warmth that they need, right? So your face, your image, the way you carry yourself conveys trust and expertise. And you set that example for others about how they should represent their businesses. So your public image, you're the embodiment of your business, right? You're the main character in the story, drawing customers or clients into your world to work together. So what is your story? What is your background story, right? What is your origin? How did you get to be where you are? Now, a lot of people will say, well, I'm here because I want to make money, I want to succeed, I want to support my family. Well, let's craft something that is easy to convey because everybody knows all those things are true. They all know that you want to be in business and that you're an entrepreneur and it's exciting and you want to live your dreams, not someone else's, and you want to succeed and all these things, but you need a narrative. You need some way to convey that to people. And by going through the exercise of crafting what that is and what it means to you personally and what you believe and getting it on paper, it helps you formulate the words when someone asks you something about yourself or about your business or to describe your business. So you kind of need a story that describes it. Okay. Um, when you do that, when you have a story and when you have a cohesive kind of message about how you got to be where you are, your authenticity comes through when you speak to people. So how you carry yourself, your confidence, your ability to articulate your message builds up that trust and builds up that takes down the concern someone might have when they meet you. So when they instantly trust you because they think you're authentic, or you are authentic, not think you are, you're not faking it, you're being authentic by having the words flow out of you easily and without hesitation and without, pause or stutter or whatever, or embarrassment or shyness or however you might feel about it, whatever words you choose, by conveying it confidently and openly, they that barrier of trust starts to lower, and they instantly feel like they're open to hearing more of what you have to say. Okay? So subconsciously, you're sharing everything you believe about yourself through your choice of words, your expressions, your body language, right? So your authentic self comes through no matter who you are, no matter where you are, no matter what you're wearing, what your beauty is. It doesn't matter. It's your underneath comes through when you're confident sharing your words and your message. And part of all of this, as much as you need to articulate your story and your message and your business and that piece of it, well, let's take a step backwards, right? And say, what do you see when you look in the mirror at yourself? Now, I don't want to go all woo-woo or introspective on you because we all have our challenges as women, right? But I will say that if your internal messages and your personal messages when you look at yourself in the mirror aren't positive, and in this world it's very difficult to craft a positive message about yourself, and it's difficult to be on camera, it's difficult to be in a picture. Some of those things are not easy, okay? But if you cannot come to terms with how you feel about yourself and your outward appearance, it's going to come through. So you have to make sure that you have to keep your internal messages you feel about yourself as true as possible and as positive and uplifting as you can, because it informs your words and it informs how you behave when someone says something to you, what your expressions are. And so I know that once the camera came into my life, I was never comfortable in front of a camera. I was not comfortable looking at myself in photos or in video or home movies or whatever. It always kind of embarrassed me to look at myself. And I'm not sure what the origin of that was. I really don't know where it came from. I would say that I was a reserved person younger. I would say that I was a little bit shy and that I didn't like attention drawn to me because I felt awkward in some ways. But I will say that the thoughts I had about myself in that image of myself and that shy and that hiding and that putting up a shield to kind of protect me wasn't necessary as I got older. So those were my younger year things. And as I got older, I learned more that, and it's not a beauty thing. It's not a whether you're all put together thing in the makeup or anything like that. It's all about your confidence and whether somebody really is going to want to hear what you have to say and being confident in your message and your words. So we all end up having to work on our own thoughts about ourselves and figure out what they really are so that when we do speak to someone, and not just on camera, in person, one-on-one, that we're not shy and that we don't hesitate in our messages, okay? As women, we're kind of coached to be in the background of a lot of things and to be more demure or to be um, uh, not as outward, showy, aggressive, open, whatever you want to call, whatever words you choose, right? So success for us hasn't been, and competitiveness and all those things have not been ground into us from day one. It's been the opposite. So we kind of have to make sure we do our own work internally so that we believe we belong where we are, wherever we are, whether it's in front of a camera or whether it's in front of a meeting or whether it's one-on-one with someone and we're selling our services. We belong there. We have expertise, we have value, and what we believe about ourselves is what comes through. So I'm going to challenge you to examine your own thoughts about yourself and how you may be impacting your appearance outwardly for your business, for yourself, and your expertise if you don't have that all in order. If you don't believe in yourself, it's going to be very hard for other people to believe in yourself. And if you're not confident about what you're doing, others are going to have trouble finding confidence in you and being confident in you. So this is what I'm sharing today because I truly believe that as one of the things as women, we've been coached historically to stand back and step back. And one of the things to succeed as an entrepreneur or as a business owner is to step forward and step into the light. And it's been very difficult for me to do that. The pandemic's helped me a little bit because I've had to be on camera every single day. And you get used to that a lot more, and you step into the light and you share what's in your mind and you share it freely without reservation. And the results are amazing. And I hope that you can feel that in your life. I also want you to consider that we're all mentors to those that are watching us, whether they be younger people, younger women in our lives that are seeing us as examples, but also other women in our community who might have that inkling in the back of their mind that they may want to do something, but they're afraid and they don't really know how to go about it. So I would like to imagine that what I do is showing others that it's okay to step into the light, and it's okay to share what's in their mind, and it's valuable and it's worth something, and they are worth something, and their ideas are worth something, and articulating them is okay. And that's not necessarily something everyone's comfortable with. So, as a mentor, we can have an impact by how we carry ourselves, how we present ourselves to the world, because we're showing generations, behind us, and we're showing our community at large what it means to be a woman in 2022 in the business world. So, I believe that getting our own head and our own image of ourselves straight and getting this message and practicing it and getting it out there is good for us, and it's good for the world, and it's good for the women global community. So, the next part to consider about who you are is what you say to others about you. And as we talked about before, what is your personal story and what pieces of it do you want to share? Inevitably, wherever you go, as you become more and more prominent being an entrepreneur, you have to tell people who you are, right? You have to explain how you got to where you are, your origin story, your inspiration for others to believe in you, to follow you. Okay, so what I'm going to ask you to do is to start writing about it and to start thinking it through. Where did you come from? What have you done in your life that you're proud of? If I introduced you to a new friend right now, today, what do you want to tell them first about you? And then what inspires you, right? What makes you want to get up in the morning and keep doing what you're doing? These things, if you think of those, and there's so many other prompts and questions you could do, but if you start at a pivotal point in your life where you first realized you wanted to be in business, and try to figure out how you got there. Like, what pieces of your life prepared you for where you are today? If you start there and start with where you came from to where you are today, and you start to write it down, and you pull out 2 or 3 sentences that embody the experience, then the next time you meet somebody and they ask you a question about, hey, how'd you get here? How'd you start? How'd you get started? You're going to be able to share something. You're going to have pre-thought it out to a certain extent and go, oh yeah, that's something inspirational that I want to share, or this is what I did and I felt good about that, so now I'm here. And really, that's, you're preparing yourself to share more about you and to open the doors to what's inside. It's not a marketing message. It's not a fake sales message or a headline. It's you, and it's about you. And that is not something as women that we're very comfortable with. So I think you need to write it down and play with it. So now, what you believe. Okay. I call this your rules of operation. So, what makes you want to succeed? What is your bottom line? What is it you want to change in your life or in the life of others? Okay. How do you live in your world? What's important to you? Is it respect? Is it uplifting others? Is it creating quality work? Is it saving people time? Is it saving people money? Is it I want to get to the core of what you believe, because these things impact who you choose to work with too, and how well you work with them. Okay, so by articulating what you believe, like for me, I have very little time for people that use profanity in their language on a regular basis. It's silly. I mean, everybody does it in a lot of settings and casual settings, etc. But when it comes to business, I think there's a line. And professional presentation to me is very important when you're in a business world. And it's very important to me to share that with other people, to know that they can rely on me to be professional. And I also believe in being on time, right? And making commitment to time and not taking advantage of anybody's time. So I think my time is valuable, and I like to respect other people's time. So when I have a meeting, I'm not late. I don't like to be late. I like to be on time. And if I am going to be late for some ungodly reason, somebody's going to know about it and anticipate that it's coming. I don't surprise people with that. If I'm running late, it's like, well, that person's going to know 15 minutes ahead of time that I'm going to be late, and they're going to be given a chance to reschedule. Um, so those are the couple of things that I think about of myself that are important to me. And I think that I weave them through my life, and a lot of people that know me know these things, right? I also believe politics doesn't belong in business. Okay? Some people don't believe that. Some people feel like it's a free, everybody should have their own free speech. Well, and I feel like politics is not something that um, I want anyone to measure me on, and I don't want to measure other people on. I believe that it doesn't belong in the conversation of business in a professional world. So, as is religion, I accept all religions. I respect them. I accept all political parties, and I respect them. But I don't think that's the place where you examine these things and you make decisions about them. If you're in a business world, a professional world, then you need to remove that piece of your personality from the interaction, because it's not appropriate. It's not something that you should measure the business at. So that's what I believe. What do you believe? What are your rules of operation? Think about them. Think about them in context of what you've experienced previously in your life, things you liked, the things you didn't like. And eventually, if your business grows, you want to convey those rules of operation to all the people that you might work with, or you might hire, or your company could grow, and you want those tenants to follow you wherever you go. And then you want to describe your business. Okay, so what are your services? What are your products? Who are they for? Why does someone want them? Why do they need them? How is it going to impact their lives? How is it going to impact their business, their success? Um, Describe these. Write a few sentences about them. Play with the words. You are going to be asked over and over as a business owner to write about yourself and to write about your business and your products, whether it's on a website or an article or in a bio for an introduction for a speech, or in a meeting where you're going to have to include a bio in a report that's going out. There are so many situations where you have to describe yourself, describe your business, describe what you do, who you help, how you help them, and why. If you practice them, then and you do this work ahead of time, you'll be prepared for all those scenarios, and they won't cause you agita or stress. Um, the other thing that you want to seriously consider preparing is an elevator pitch. Now, I call an elevator pitch an introduction. So you just meet somebody new. It doesn't matter if they're your dream client or some guru that you've been dying to meet or someone you respect or just your next door neighbor. If it's in a business setting and they say, tell me a little bit about yourself, tell me what you do, right? You don't have time to go a whole paragraph and tell them this, that, and the other thing. You say, You have 30 seconds to say, hey, my name's Denise Millay. I own such and such company. I help who to do what so that they can what? 30 seconds, right? You want to tailor it to have the important info about you. You don't want it to be your resume. You don't want it to be your history. You want to be who you are, what you do, who you help, and what's the outcome, right? And that short bit is going to tell the person you're speaking to you're confident about what you do, you have a clear idea of who you are and what you do. And then if they're interested, they're going to say, oh, well, that's interesting. Tell me more about X. Tell me more about Y. And they'll continue the conversation. If it was just nicety or a courtesy that they asked you that, then no harm, no foul. You've shared your bit. They took it in and they've listened to it, and they're going to remember that. If it's succinct, they're going to remember it, right? But if there's nothing further to go between you, then that's fine. You haven't expended, oh, I've spent a half hour telling you all about myself, and this person's been trying to, shorten the conversation, right? So start with that. Have an elevator pitch. Have that 30-second preparation where you just have that who you are, what your company is, and who you help and why, what they get out of it. It'll really come in handy in so many situations. I was always afraid of the elevator pitch. I was always afraid of that awkward moment of meeting somebody new and they say, what do you do? And you go, I do everything. Because as women, we do everything. As entrepreneurs, we do everything. But really, what do they want to, what do you want them to hear that you do? What is going to help you? And if they are a potential connection or customer, what piece of information can you give them that's going to help further you or your business? That's really what you need to have. And think of it as an introduction. It doesn't have to be your whole history, just a short and sweet. So now, as it obviously practice makes perfect in almost every situation, right? So you are going to weave these thoughts, these stories, these messages into everything that you do. And I don't mean write a novel, but on Facebook, you have an about section. On LinkedIn, you have an about section and a short bio and what you do. On your website, you have an about you page or a contact page. You have a mission statement, I'm sure, that you try to share in materials, what you're all about. Your bio statements if you're going to speak or if you're presenting somewhere or you're in a virtual event and somebody says, tell us a little bit about yourself. Well, you need to have something prepared that describes you succinctly for them and make it easy for your listener or your reader to get something about you that is meaningful and does you service and helps promote you as well as help them connect with you and who you really are. So I hope this has been helpful for you. It's something that's near and dear to my heart. It's not always easy to do, but I hope that it's been helpful for you. So today, I want to share with you my free gift that I have for you. It's a guide containing 5 free online tools that'll help change your business and make your work much easier. So It's intended to save time and energy. If you go to this address, I'll give you a minute to take a screenshot or to write it down. It's https://mmediagroupllc.com/free-gift. I wanted to also let you know what I do. I work with folks to get their technology set up and automate their marketing activities. I work on their strategy, their social media planning, their profiles, their websites, and their campaigns. Um, if you'd like more information, please visit my website. It's mmediagroupllc.com, or reach out, via the contact page or via the email that's on the site, or contact me through Facebook or LinkedIn. I'd love to connect with you and learn more about you. Every week I share a free tool, and today my free tool this week is going to be Telegram. It's an app for your smartphone. There is also a desktop version, so you can go to Google and look for Telegram desktop, or you can go to the Google Play or Apple Store on your phone and download it. Now, Telegram is a voice messaging platform, like an instant message, but for voice recordings as opposed to typed messages. And it's really helpful if you're doing a promotion or an event online, or you have a group of people that you're working with all together and you want to share uplifting messages with them. You can create an event and then have people opt into it. Like, let's say you're doing a virtual summit, or you're online for an event, right? And you have 10 people joining you. Well, you could say, okay, everybody download Telegram and sign up for the channel for my event. And then you could all share voicemail messages. And every morning you could share a personal message recorded just for them and sent to them. And it's a really wonderful way to personalize your activity and to let people know that you're connecting with them individually in this vast world of everybody. So it's a really great tool. I don't use it all the time, but in those situations where I'm trying to support a group effort, it's really wonderful. And I'm sure that you'll get lots out of it. So yeah, that was my free tool for the day. So I'm so glad you could join me for this episode of Marketing Matters. I know how precious your time is, and my hope is that you came away from this episode with some nuggets you can apply to your business. My aim is to provide clear, useful info so that you can have a thriving business, amazing relationships with your customers and clients. And as always, if you have questions, drop a post on my Facebook page. It's called Marketing Matters Show. And there's also a link in the profile for the show. And join me here next week for our next episode, where we'll dive into marketing topics that matter for you. Thanks so much. Bye.